Hey, vinyl community, it's Mitch. I've got a little bit of a pile next to me, finally, to be able to do a recent finds video. Um, Unfortunately, a few months ago, my car was broken into. That cost me a shit ton of money to fix. So I kind of slowed down on going to record stores or just purchasing vinyl in general for a while. And of course, with the craziness of the wedding and paying for all that kind of stuff, it took me quite a while to get back into the groove of going record shopping again. Um, all that being said, this pile is kind of sizable, so you guys might not believe me, but there's some stuff in here that I have had since I started my YouTube channel, and I just forgot to show um, on the last few recent finds videos. And there's also been a couple of gifts in here. So anyway, we'll get started here. I've got a couple of grails sandwiched somewhere in the middle, so it's an old David Michael trick, I think, is to save the grails till the middle or the end so that you're forced to pay attention. So thank you, David Michael, for that one. First is this. This is Prince's self-titled. I would call this copy near mint. This is a second press with the correct, or I should say corrected credits on the back. This is an upgrade copy for me. My other one is pretty close to near mint, but it's got a little bit of ring wear in that area, so I decided to pick this one up. It was a good deal, so I jumped on it. I got an email from a record store that I don't shop at all that often, but they have a rewards program, and I had some credit there. So I went in and just dug through their used bin and was lucky enough to find this. This is I Hate You. It is Prince, of course, but as a symbol. This is a promotional only 12-inch, and it is from 1995. So I feel like that's fairly late for a U.S. piece of promo vinyl. It's just in the generic jacket. The sticker, of course, is just pasted on there. It's kind of a cool Warner Brothers Shield label with the love symbol below it. I was really pumped to find that. Here's one, I guess we could call it a little bit of a grail. I've been looking for Prince's self-titled debut. This is not self-titled. It's called For You. I've been looking for this in a clean copy for a really, really long time. I've found a few, but they're always a little roached. This one is still in the shrink, so that little sticker right there isn't actually on the jacket, which I was super pumped about. Yes, this is Prince's 1978 debut. This is on the green Burbank label from WB. It's got the original inner in there, and it's Jacksonville, which apparently, I'm just now catching on to this, but apparently if you're buying Warner Brothers stuff, a lot of people prefer the Jacksonville plant to the Winchester plant. So, yeah, I was really pumped to find this one. I got a fairly good deal on it. It was kind of expensive, but it definitely filled in a big hole in my Prince collection. Next up is Chic Your Booty, Frank Zappa. I picked this up on one of those Facebook auction groups. I got a stellar deal on it. Figured I'd grab it for the price, and it turned out to be just a little bit better than the copy I already had. So, slight upgrade. But man, I've been talking with some people because this is the same situation. Good deal on a Facebook auction. This is Them or Us by Zappa. Barely better than the copy I had, but I got it for a good price. But I've been talking with people like David Michael, with Billy Hurst. I've even talked a little bit with Jeff Party about situations like this. This is my third copy of Them or Us. I have my copy, this copy. This is an upgrade copy, and then I have the copy I inherited from my dad. I think this is a $15 record, if I remember right, which is pretty reasonable for this clean of a copy of a Zappa record. But there's kind of a curse when you collect artists with large catalogs and you're really into them. I find it really interesting that I'm one to bitch about, you know, having to pay 12 or 15 bucks for a repress of a Pink Floyd album, or, you know, some really common record by Queen or whatever, and then I won't buy that, but I'll then turn around and spend that same 15 or 20 bucks on a third copy of a Zappa record. So fairly typical record collector hypocrisy coming from me, but it's just really interesting concept, I think, about what you're willing to spend your money on. When you know, you buy an $85 record and you're super pumped on it, and then you turn around the next week and you find a record that you really want, it's also $85, and all of a sudden that $85 is super expensive and prohibitive, and screw that guy for asking that much money. That kind of stuff. I find that really interesting, especially because I had to sell my collection, like I mentioned before, and it's been really interesting trying to replace some of the stuff I sold off, especially as the prices have really hiked over the last 4 or 5 years. Next up is Toxic Shock Part 1. This is a Zappa bootleg. These have been sitting in the rarity bin at my favorite store in my area for a while. I bought all 3 parts slowly over time because they weren't cheap, but it's nice to have this one and complete the set. There's some really cool, like, Xeroxed information on the back. I know I kind of showed you the back already, but yeah, super pumped to have all 3 of these now, especially in super clean condition. Went ahead and replaced my old copy of Paul Simon's Graceland. This album is amazing. If you don't know about this album, just stop watching me and go listen to this. I know a lot of people in the VC love Paul Simon and show this one every once in a while, but I was just really pumped to find this. It's just a Columbia House club pressing, but it's super clean, still in the shrink. Sounds really, really good, and I'm excited to get back to work on my Paul Simon collection. Up next is Principle of Moments by Robert Plant. This is a Japanese pressing. To be honest, I don't like this record very much as a whole. It gets a little bit of play in my rotation, and I have a really clean club press of this, but I found this on an auction site, and it was really cheap, and I honestly paid what I paid for it because, 1, I love Japanese pressings, and 2, I wanted to hear In the Mood in a Japanese pressing and see how good it sounded. It was definitely worth it. I'm super pumped to have it. Maybe now that I have a little bit more of an upgrade or expensive copy, I'll listen to it more. Maybe it'll grow on me a little bit. But for now, I'm happy enough to have it just to be able to listen to In the Mood at that quality. Next is a still sealed copy of Talking Heads' True Stories. I am a really big Talking Heads fan, and I found this for really cheap, and of course now I'm a little worried because I think it might have started me down the path of needing all of Talking Heads stuff sealed, but for now it's just kind of a cool addition to the collection to have it with all those hype stickers still on it. I'm actually still missing Stop Making Sense, which is really sad. I got rid of that when I sold my collection, and every copy I've found since then has just been disgusting. I don't understand why they're in the bins, honestly. Usually when I see it, it's seam splits everywhere, stains all over the cover, and the record's just thrashed. So I'm still looking for that one, but in the meantime, I was happy to add this to the Talking Heads collection, especially because it's still sealed. Alright, so here's some back-to-back hidden in the middle of the video grails. This one I actually got right after my dad passed away, I sorted through his CD collection and ended up trading it in. A lot of the stuff that I wouldn't listen to and had been around for forever. Got some stored credit and was able to get this first press of The Wall. It's the first U.S. press. It still has the hype card. That's what all this record store information says. It's not near mint, but it's damn close. What's really interesting to me is, as clean as this record is and as happy as I am to have this, it sounds like crap. I don't know if that has to do with the fact that it came out in, excuse me, 1979. I don't know if it's recycled vinyl or what the deal is, but it does not sound very good. I would put the CD that I have from 1984 that I got from my dad's collection in the CD player before I put this back on the turntable. So this is one of those things where maybe I just keep this for the collectability of it. I don't know. I kind of feel bad getting rid of it, especially since I used Dad's stuff to obtain it. But for now, I'm happy to have it. It's a cool piece to have in a collection. It's just not exactly what I would call like my choice of a playing copy. Second Grail. This is a promo copy. Let's see if I can get the camera to show the gold stamp there. It's a promo copy of Controversy by Prince. It's pretty much brand new. Posters in there, didn't look like it had ever been unfolded. I saw this in a case at the record store that I frequent most often and just had to have it. Super pumped that it was there. Many of you guys know that if it's got a promo stamp or a white label, I just go nuts about it. I don't know what that is. I don't know why. I just love promo stuff. So super pumped to find this. This is one of my favorite Prince albums. I think Controversy is probably my favorite Prince song. If I was having a quick conversation about Prince, that's probably my go-to answer for that question. So super pumped to get this. It sounds awesome. And it's just a really cool addition to the collection. Up next is Robert Randolph and the Family Band. This one is called We Walked This Road. It's a double album. I found it in a used bin. Barely looks touched, but it was basically half the price of what it would have been brand new. I really like this album. I already had it on CD. I've seen Robert probably 7 times. This is probably my favorite album of his. Also really interesting, there's a Prince song that he covers on here called Walk Don't Walk. But if you're not familiar with Robert Randolph, he comes out of the Sacred Steel movement, which is a kind of a genre, I guess, in and of itself, but it's pedal steel guitar played by guys in the church. So he's very gospel influenced, but there's also some blues in there, some straight rock and roll, all kind of rolled into one. I've seen him by himself several times. Like I said, I've seen him part of the Experience Hendrix tour that Jimi Hendrix's estate puts on. So he's very, very capable on the steel guitar. Just a solid, feel-good music. Makes you want to get up and dance. There's a lot of positivity in this record. I just love it. These next few are from Labor Day. Labor Day sale at my favorite record store. They have a sale where if the price tag on the back is dated of a certain age. So I think basically this Labor Day sale, if it had been there since December 2016 or before, it was 50% off. So I dug a lot harder than I had dug in their bins for a long time, just to kind of refresh myself. Usually I go to that record store so often that I can just go through the new arrivals and check out a couple of other sections to see if I missed something, and then I'm out. But since they were having a 50% off sale, I went through everything and found some stuff that I hadn't seen in a while. So this is Malmsteen's Rising Force, Marching Out. I believe this is their second album. It's a nice, clean copy promo. I think this is the only Malmsteen album that I have, which is surprising because I figured there would be some in Dad's collection, but I don't remember seeing any. So anyway, I've seen Yngwie live before. He's really good at guitar. I don't think he comes across as a very good person. He kind of seems like a pretentious asshole. But I guess if you're that good and have been that influential on guitar, it's okay to have a little bit of an ego. Yeah, this album is a little bit out of my normal... I wouldn't pick this album to listen to too often, but I put it on when I got it, and I really liked it. So I would imagine I might be listening to this one a little bit more often than I expected to. Up next is, again, a Gold Step promo of the Tubes. This is Love Bomb. I'm pretty into the Tubes. I think that their production value is really high. I love how weird they are. And so when I find a Tubes album that I don't have, I usually pick it up, especially because they're usually very cheap. This one was a promo. It was 50% off. And I didn't have it, so I went ahead and grabbed it. Alright, last two. So these were also 50% off. So this is Gang of Four. I believe it's just called the self-titled EP. I think some people call it the Yellow EP. But it is in really nice shape. I love punk rock, and it was just too cheap to pass up an original Gang of Four EP, and this was right behind it. So you've got Another Day, Another Dollar. This is another mini record. It's 50% off. Super pumped to find those. Yeah, so VC, that's basically what I've purchased over the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. I've got a couple records in the mail and some other stuff in the works, so I should be able to have some material to make videos a little bit more often than every 3 months now. But yeah, I'd be really interested to hear your guys' thoughts or comments or anything about any of the records that I showed in this video. I'd love to discuss with you, so leave a comment down below. And we'll talk to you soon.